Receiving simulator transmission. Uploading transmitted feed. Initializing playback sequence. Alright Seipher, we're ready.
Well, we've secured the castle. Now to chase down a madman. Hey everyone, Seipher here, and welcome back to Seipher Plays Kingdom Hearts. In the last episode, we flew back to Hollow Bastion to seal the world's keyhole and stop the deluge of darkness that was pouring out of it. We were successful in sealing the keyhole, but were informed that Ansem had stepped through to the world of the Heartless. We can't let him do as he pleases, so it's a sure bet that we'll be going after him. That said, we were also informed that if we succeed, the barriers that isolated the worlds in the beginning will be reestablished. So we may never see our friends again. However, our hearts will always be connected, or at least that is what Leon more or less said. So let's just go ahead and glide all the way to the save point over here in the Rising Falls, and let's just get things underway. But before we do, I do actually want to go over one thing. In the last episode, we got to level 60, and that is actually a rather important level up, at least in terms of the original game, because it is the last level up where Sora will gain any MP. So with my current equipment, that is how much MP he will have for the remainder of things. There are ways to get up higher, and I believe the well, we'll be seeing that a bit later, but the maximum effect that MP can have is if you get to 15 MP, which I think is only possible in the original game if you choose the Dream Rod as your starting weapon. I didn't, so I'm not going to be able to make use of that. In addition, we also got this, Aerial Sweep, a rather potent ability that I have been missing for quite some time. Probably would have come sooner if I had picked the Dream Rod. For the cost of 2 AP, Sora will attack enemies above him with a spinning jump, which perfectly transitions into an air combo, so pretty good. Gonna be nice to have. Anyway, let's get on with this. For the last time, we normal drive to the highest battle level world ever. And I did actually upgrade the Selene between episodes because the full gummy block set that we got from the Dalmatians is certainly rather nice to have. This is probably the best that I could manage at one time. And we really won't need to shoot everything that we come across, but oh well. Oh, those giant ships, I forgot all about those. You can technically make those, but they're very difficult to defeat. Yet, I am crashing a lot. Hopefully I can find some meteors to shoot. Oh, and here we are. Welcome to the end of the world, the dark world of the Heartless. You can see that all the hearts that the Heartless have collected are gathering here at this one place at the very edge of the universe. The crossover has been very Disney-centric, but I believe this will tip the balance firmly in the Final Fantasy category after Hollow Bastion tipped it back to being a balance.
Gorge, is that all that's left of the worlds taken by the Heartless?
Those worlds will be restored if we beat Ansem, right?
You betcha!
But if we do beat him, and all these worlds become restored and disconnected, what's gonna happen to this place? and to us.
This is a heartless world, so maybe it'll just disappear.
Huh?
But no worries. Even if this place goes poof, our hearts ain't going nowhere. I'm sure we'll find our pals again. Yep, I just know that we will. Yep.
Yeah, you're right. I'll return this. I promise.
Yep, this world is hauntingly beautiful and definitely shows its Final Fantasy Final Dungeon-esque roots. Honestly, kind of reminds me a bit of the final levels of Final Fantasy X, since that was just out about the same time as this. I mean, it is really just hauntingly beautiful and macabre. Even the music is sort of, well, it did play back in the Dive to the Heart to an extent, but it really fits this place a lot better, in my opinion. As we can see from pausing, the final dimension is the area that we are currently in, and this first area is rather straightforward. We have a lot of fights to go through. So we're going to be chasing down Ansem, but obviously the Heartless are going to be throwing everything that they have to get in our way, so I will mainly be cutting a lot of these battles in this first area out. However, I will go over a few of them, as there are 2 new Heartless to encounter, and the final 2 of the original game. The strongest pure-blooded Heartless has arrived. Say hello to the Invisibles. Their main method of attack is to fly around and thrust or swing at you with their swords. They also have a range attack that fires 6 dark spheres at you from above, which can be returned. Their most annoying attack, however, is turning intangible into that ring of dark fire that follows you around to attack you when they come back into reality. Usually triggered by throwing their sword into the ground to chase after you in that form. And they will usually focus that on Sora. When this happens, I would just recommend dodge rolling to get away from it. And as shown there, these guys can drop orichalcums, although it's very rare. They're more likely to drop gales, and they can rarely drop, occasionally drop high potions. So yeah, we're just gonna have to follow these arrows now that we're back in the main area to these chests. We get a power-up from this first one. I'll just save that for after we get through all this. If we open up this chest, we're probably going to be thrown into another battle. Get a defense up from opening that chest, so let's get on to the next chest. Gets us a Mega Elixir, definitely something that we will need in these final areas. Get to this chest over here on this, which is red, which should get us another battle. This time with a behemoth, which we encountered back in Hollow Bastion's keyhole, although a slightly weaker variant in my opinion. But yeah, it is basically it's basically now a regular enemy rather than a special boss, although it wasn't all that much of a special boss in my opinion in the first place. We will be encountering more of this version of Behemoth as we go through the End of the Worlds, and they have a high chance of dropping Mithril Shards, Mithrils, or even Orichalcums, up to 50% of the time with Lucky Strike equipped. These guys are going to be your main method of getting Orichalcums if you didn't happen to collect enough of what you need from side quests. We get an Omega Hearts from that, which I actually don't think I went over last time. So let's just quickly take a look at that. It's basically just raising max strength, HP, and defense. Pretty good, but I feel like we've got better with what we've currently got equipped. Although, actually... Yeah, I know. I've kept White Fang on pretty much ever since we got it, but it's honestly much more... Omega Arts is probably a bit more helpful for right now. Not that we'll be keeping it for very long, based on what I have planned. Anyway, off to the next chest. It only took to the final hour. It only took to the final hour, but looks like some Final Fantasy things have gotten biblical here in Kingdom Hearts. Say hello to the Angel Stars. These guys can be considered the final evolution of the Heartless mages, floating out of reach and attacking from range with magic. They will focus on firing thunderbolts from their lower body, spinning to generate dark tornadoes, or shooting you with a bullet of light from the front. They are immune to thunder. If you get up close and personal, they will swing at you with their wings or block with their wings, becoming invulnerable for a time. Like the Invisibles, they'll drop gales and will occasionally drop ethers and rarely mithrils. Let's open this up. Get an Angel Bangle. We already synthesized one of those, so not really all that worth it in my opinion. Get a Mega Elixir from this one without having to fight. But I imagine we won't be so lucky in this one. Get another defense up from that. Off to the next chest, which will probably have another fight. Or not, a 3 stars. I believe that is also another accessory that we've been able to synthesize before. Or we have had the option, but I don't think we've had the materials for it. Basically just a better version of the Fire Ring, Thunder Ring, and... well, actually, I guess it's more of a Chaos Ring. Or whatever accessory I said that the battleships give. Anyway, off to the next chest. If Invisibles are giving you trouble, Stop can be very effective in helping you deal with them, but I personally don't think that they're all that difficult to deal with. Wait, let's open this up. Get another power-up from that one. Now, the only optional chest, because it doesn't require us to move forward, gets us a Dark Ring. Honestly, not all that worth it. We've been able to craft those for a very long time. But getting here gets us to the end of this area. Which is another behemoth fight, so gonna be just cutting this out. I wonder where that Ansem feller went. Dive into the most dangerous place, and we'll find him. Okay, so from winning that fight, we have been transferred to a new area of the end of the world, the Giant Crevice. Now, this area has a bunch of treasures that I unfortunately can't pick up because I got the final Dalmatian reward. That said, I will show you where the chests are. So, let's jump and glide this way toward this ledge with all the crystals on it for a chest. that contains a haste 2G. And I hope I'm not misremembering. Down here we're gonna have a bit of fighting to do. But hey, I welcome it, since we do need to get quite a few gales off of invisibles and the like here. And the more that I get now while we're recording together, the less I have to do. Shoot, I think I missed a chest, but... Or maybe not. Oh, no. This one has an Ultima G that we can't pick up. And you know what? I'm just gonna take a sec to actually use the stat boosters we got in the final dimension. All stat boosters on Sora. Okay. Now, we want to turn right and glide. Just I thought, want to make sure that I'm reading my notes correctly before we actually go ahead. We want to just glide this way until we see a chest, which is right down here, which should have an Asuna G for us. Square. Alright. Over there, if we see these little ledges over here that we can climb up. Getting us to another chest. This will get us a haste G, but again, we don't need it. After that, there is a save point down here next to this glowing crevice, and if we actually look over there, we can see another platform that was hidden from our view from up in the air, which has one last gummy block for us, a Thundara G. All in all, not that worth it. The chests are obviously different in the final mix version because a lot of chests are different in the final mix version, but yeah, those are the chests that are the reason why you may not want to pick up the 101 Dalmatians reward for returning all 99 puppies right away. That said, I already did, so I can't pick them up. Anyway, let's jump into here. Welcome to the World Terminus. Now, this place is pretty straightforward. Using any green orbs will actually take us back. I did not mean to do that. Just a sec. Okay, so we're going to want to take the blue orbs to progress forward. Now, the World Terminus can be thought of as the entrances that the Heartless have used to get into the worlds that we visited along the way. If we step into these pillars, we will be taken to the worlds we've been, or at least copies of them, where they enter, and will be put into a series of fights. You do not have to do this if you have already locked the keyhole for those respective worlds, and I have locked every keyhole that we've come across, but I want to do this anyway, so let's go. First up, Traverse Town. They get in through the 3rd district, it looks like. And it will be world-specific Heartless, so Not anything that we have to really worry about. Or at least world-specific Heartless in terms of what was there during like the main meat of the story when they sealed their keyholes. So probably wouldn't find large bodies there now, mainly, since a lot of the Hollow Bastion Heartless seem to overtake. From doing this, we get a Brave Warrior. Obviously, like Final Mix, well, sorry, not like Final Mix. The Final Mix version changes these to synthesis materials, so kind of lesser in that extent, but honestly, these accessories aren't all that worth it compared to synthesis materials at this point, so honestly, probably have changed for the better. Up next is Wonderland with the rabbit hole. Pretty straightforward, although I guess I was a bit wrong. Maybe we could still fight soldiers and large bodies back in Traverse Town that I didn't know about. And we got a Wizard's Relic on screen that I don't need because that's like the 4th one that I have. Well, at least I managed to get them both, get both the Defender and Wizard's Relic on screen. I just wish that they had been the first time that I'd gotten them and not the last. Honestly, I want the crystals off of wizards more than I want their weapons at this point. Exit out through the doorway, and on we go to, I believe, Olympus Coliseum next. Yep, and not just any Olympus Coliseum lobby area, or I guess main gate area, but the one we saw back in the like final cutscene for Olympus Coliseum story-wise during our first visit, when Hades was complaining about Hercules and wanting to get rid of both him and us. Not that he's gonna have much luck with that, although we do still have to go take care of him. Now then, behind this statue over here is another copy of the Inferno Band. And we just exit out the way we always do. And that sort of tips off something for the future, although we were already warned that a new tournament is available in Olympus Coliseum. Anyway, up next should be the jungle. And we're in the bamboo thicket. Another white fang, and we can just leave the same way we entered. Up next should be Agrabah. And a bit more interesting in that it's the version of Agrabah that is technically loaded when we fight the Hot Centipede, where all the maps of the actual city are connected. Going up here gets us another copy of the Ray of Light, which honestly we've had equipped for pretty much the entire game, and honestly it is able to be equipped for a long stretch of the game in the Final Mix version. Anyway, out the desert we go. And if I were a betting man, up next we are going to Atlantica, so joy. Yep, like I know my luck. Now, Atlantica didn't have an accessory, but in return it gives us the best item of this whole rewind by giving us an AP up, so let's quickly make use of that. Again, all AP boosts on Sora, because he learns a lot more abilities than either Donald or Goofy. Along here, this should be Halloween Town. And Oogie's torture chamber. From completing that, we get the Holy Circlet. I guess since not every world is necessarily mandatory, like Olympus Coliseum and Atlantica, you could technically just do this. I mean, you do have to do this if you don't seal every keyhole. So, this is basically your way of getting any accessories that you didn't choose to go to. Anyway, we're here in Neverland now, or rather, Hook's ship. Let's see, where could that be? Perhaps in this room? Obtain another Raven's Claw from this chest in the corner of the galley, and the way that we will get out is back into the holds whence we came. Alright. Now then, we've got the 100-acre wood represented here. It gives us a Mega Elixir. Honestly, rather nice after all that fighting we did. It also gives us a save point, so you guys may want to make use of that. I'll just ignore it for now, because I'm trying to get through this entire world in one sitting so that I can just do some synthesis grinding. And finally, we make it to the final section of the World Terminus with a lot of fire. So, let's step on in. And welcome to Hollow Bastion, but not a place that we've ever been. And certainly enemies that we've never found in Hollow Bastion before. Come on, you guys are supposed to have a 6% chance of dropping Gales normally, and with 3 copies of three copies of Lucky Strike, you guys should be dropping like 15% chance of the time, so how come I've only got 1 off of you guys? Well, from beating those guys, we open up this door, get this chest for another Mega Elixir. They're really playing those on thick, and if we examine this, one's born of heart and darkness, devoid of hearts, ravage all worlds and bring desolation. Seize all hearts and consume and consummate the great heart. All hearts to be one heart to encompass all. Realize the destiny, the realm of kingdom hearts, the great darkness sealed within the great heart. Progeny of darkness, come back to the eternal darkness, for the heart of light shall unseal the path. 7 hearts, 1 keyhole, 1 key to the door. The door of darkness, tied by 2 keys. The door of darkness to seal the light. None shall pass but shadows, returning to the darkness. One's born of the heart and darkness, hunger for every heart, until the dark door opens. Well, that certainly speaks to a lot. Certainly mentioning a bunch about Hollow Bastion's keyhole, the 7 Princesses of Heart, the key to Kingdom Hearts, so yeah, it's not just a title, but an actual place. And we're probably gonna be the ones to open its door. Well, from completing that, the fire has been extinguished, so I would suggest that we actually make use of a camping set. Actually, how is MP? Yeah, MP's... you know what? Let's just use a camping set. The Devil of Bald Mountain stands to oppose us at the world's end. This is Chernabog from Disney's Fantasia. The duration of this fight, we are provided the ability to fly like in Neverland. Chernabog's attacks, as shown with that breath of fire that he just tried to unleash on us, is pretty much all fire-based. He can breathe fire, sweeping from left to right with it. He can unleash a more violent torrent of flames, sweeping from right to left. He will eventually make flames erupt from his mountain. And we're probably going to want to have Aeroga cast up quite a bit. You want to be careful when he starts to lean forward. He can blow you away with basically a gust of wind, but it doesn't damage you. The main thing we want to be worried about is if he starts to bend over, as that is a tell that he's going to use his desperation attack, which is pretty devastating, especially in the original version, since Leaf Bracer isn't a thing. So just sort of keep your guard up. And he is really going down pretty quick. Oh, he does have these range attacks to create these will-o'-the-wisps to sort of attack you, but their homing is pretty bad. And that was his desperation attack. Definitely want to have Aeroga up for it. Thankfully, I believe Aeroga can keep his fireballs from really damaging you. Alright, not bad. Honestly, he's not too tough, just be careful of his desperation attack. Learn shared ability Super Glide. Okay, sorry about that. Had to cut because something was going on outside. In any case, we are now in the evil grounds. Chernabog has been defeated. This would be normally where I would stop things, but we do have a new ability to equip in Super Glide. Basically the same thing as Glide, only much faster, and done by holding square when in flight. We descend on into his volcano to the volcanic crater. And here we finally reach the remnants of worlds that were destroyed by the Heartless and lost to the darkness. We can see here the door and front frame of the cottage of the 7 dwarves from Snow White's world. We can see a tower or various wreckage from Cinderella's world, and over here the moors or cliffs of what would be the Enchanted Dominion, which Sleeping Beauty, or rather Aurora and Maleficent came from, along with a bunch of dark ramble from Maleficent. So honestly, it is kind of nice to see that even though we don't get to visit those worlds, they are represented here. And in fact, we even see a bunch of this stuff in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, so kind of interesting. This is, yeah, it's still the volcanic crater. I think that there's also supposed to be a reference to Beauty and the Beast's world, but I honestly haven't been able to find it. Anyway, we make our way through the hallway and jump through here. And are immediately put into a fight with a behemoth that we can't see. So, let's just get this started, shall we? Although, strangely, that guy didn't give us any drops. Anyway, now we are in basically a final gauntlet. Have to clear out Heartless to be able to progress onward by taking out the symbol that is blocking that door. So, let's just quickly take care of these guys. And from all that, we collected quite a number of gales. Let's actually check our stock, because I want to make sure that I don't have to do too much grinding off screen. Oh, we got 9 of them already, and that is how many we need for all the recipes that we have left. So, that's good. Let's step on through this. It certainly cuts down a number of grinding, and a number of hours of synthesis grinding. Although it is the easiest of the materials that I was missing to collect. We get here to the final rest, which has a save point. As the name implies, this is the last place that we can actually sort of rest, save, and prepare before we chase Ansem through a all too familiar looking door, considering that this place looks like a hidden grotto of an island. That can't be a coincidence. Well, now that we stand before the final threshold, Ansem surely waits beyond, and we could go and put an end to this once and for all. But I don't think that is necessarily what we want to do. At least not right away. There's still time, I'm sure. Even if it does seem a bit odd to put off things till the last minute in this situation. But Ansem can wait. Next time, we'll return to Traverse Town to complete our synthesis list, and then we're heading out to the Coliseum to test our mettle against the sole survivor of Maleficent's cabal. I want to thank you all for watching. Until next time, stay gold.
Playback sequence terminated. Transmission disconnected.